Welcome to the Getting Real with Hilary show, where ordinary heroes tell extraordinary stories during unique and never been heard before conversations with your host, Hilary Arno Burns. Hilary's unique listening and way of asking questions results in conversations that aren't usually talked about, so you can create the life that you really want but are afraid you can't really have. We are demonstrating the greatness in the human spirit and creating a world where we all reclaim our birthright of joy, happiness, purpose, and passion. Now, here's your host, Hilary Arno Burns. Welcome to the Getting Real with Hilary show, and today we have one of our favorite guests who's doing a repeat. His name is Rodger Friedman. He is the author of the Amazon bestseller, Erasing America, and is known as the Equal Opportunity Critic. Welcome, Rodger. Welcome back.
Thank you, Hilary. I'm glad to be back and glad to be spending some good time with you.
Yes, and we had him about a year ago, right before the election. And that was a great conversation. If you want to go look it up, you can find it. I don't know what season that is, where we have seasons of, I don't know,
It was
13 interviews. Yes. Yeah, it was pre-election. So that's right. All right. So I read your newsletter. So Rodger does is it a weekly newsletter?
It is a bi-weekly newsletter called the Equal Opportunity Times, and it is available at no charge. If you go to the Equal Opportunity Critic or eocritic.com. You could sign up for free, eocritic.com.
Okay, so that's eocritic.com. Cool.
Right. Made it easy.
Great. So congratulations. So Rodger just told me he retired from being a financial planner of 45 years. And now you're going to do this full time?
Well, now that dividends and interest and Social Security cover my coffee, Cabernet, the occasional night out, I'm finding different things to keep me busy. Matter of fact, I joined the library 3 weeks ago. First time I've been in a library in 45 years.
Really?
And I got to tell you, I'm in Florida. You're in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Okay. So I was stunned to find out that our modern day library has power tools that you could take out.
We were talking about the election and stuff like that. Would you like to say anything about that? I know it was a year ago, but.
Well, I'm very, very happy that my candidate of choice is now residing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is around 4 blocks from my old office when I worked in Washington, D.C.
Oh.
And he has literally taken the country by storm. When I compare the velocity of his work to that of Sleepy Joe, it's nothing short of astounding. What he does in one day, Joe didn't do in 6 months. Okay.
Well, so let me, I agree. And there are people who are hearing other things about him on their news station, that he's not doing anything and he's imprisoning innocent people and all that kind of stuff. And, I have members of my family who listen to both sides. I know you had brought up bipartisan. I don't think they know what that word means. But there are people that are very upset and blah, blah, blah. And you spoke about it here, the things that people say. If you're being, let's just call it brainwashed with a certain narrative, let's say that Trump is a Nazi. Let's just say that's what they were hearing for years and years and years and years. And they would give them snippets proving it,
Right.
Elon Musk, remember, he touched his head and all of a sudden so they are being bombarded with that information to the point that they think he should be removed and he's dangerous and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I don't know if it's what they believe, it's what they're being told. I don't think they question it. Like, that's big. That's more my concern than
I wrote
people
about this morning.
yeah.
I wrote about
I
this
figured
this
I'd
morning.
ask you since
Yeah,
you're
because you just made a very, very good point. They take snippets. For example, he's a Nazi because the Nazis burned books, and he's a Nazi because his administration is pushing school boards to get pornography out of libraries that serve second, third, and fourth graders. So because they are both pulling books off the shelf, that proves they're a Nazi. Now, what I'm seeing is that the TV stations, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, NPR, Washington Post, the New York Times, et cetera, they're all pushing, as you said, their narratives.
yes.
And they are very, very biased.
Right.
I don't go to a news site to learn the opinion of a journalist. I don't want their opinion. I could form my own opinion. I'm a fairly intelligent fellow. Give me the facts, give me the raw information, and I will form my own opinion. I don't need you to spoon feed me the opinion of the editor of the Washington Post. I'm not interested in it. As my booby would say, it's dreck, which means garbage in Yiddish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So they're pushing biased narratives. They're not giving unadulterated news.
Exactly. Yeah. But and I'm going to ask you where you get the truth in a minute, but I want to say to you, or the people who are buying into it they don't know that it's a biased narrative. They are so entrenched in this story and the hatred of Trump and the this and that. They're not.
I liken it to they're drinking transmission fluid, bright green transmission fluid, because it smells good and they think it's a melon ball cocktail. So they don't mind the occasional stomachache before they pass out and die. Okay.
Okay. Do you think it's basic human nature that people want to be right and they want to make something else wrong, and that's why they keep going in this direction? I mean, would they ever? I don't think you could go to someone who's like, I shouldn't say, but there's a practitioner I go to who was very, not holistic, but very much against the vaccine and all that stuff. When I had one, he was like, "Oh my God, what have you done?" So I was shocked when he said Trump is a narcissist, and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, and he said something. I don't know, when he was meeting with."
You can make the argument that every president in the history of the republic is a narcissist.
Right. But he said it with such disgust. And I was like, I was really shocked by that. Like,
I got a next door neighbor.
Him of all people. You know what I mean?
Medical field, same thing. It's like, would you rather Kamala Harris? I ask him point blank. And I say, by the way, if you say yes, I will spit on your car.
But like, I don't know about your neighbor, but this person is a very intelligent person. I would think, I don't know. It's just when they get that way, and even I have another person who I've been going to for years, and the vaccine against, but now she like spits in anger, and I'm just like,
it's like venom. Yes.
Yeah. Like, what is that? Like,
yeah, it's, there used to be, I was a political science major in SUNY, State University of New York College, near Buffalo and Rochester. One of the stupider decisions I've ever made in my life. But be that as it may, I learned about bipartisanship, something that literally doesn't exist anymore. There was civil discourse.
Yes.
Okay. Kennedy, a moderate Democrat, proposed lowering taxes. Would you hear a Democrat say that now? I don't think so.
But I think in your newsletter, you talked about, but I just lost you talked about that. And that was how the Democrats were then. And so now they have this other agenda that you.
Now they've become radicalized.
Yeah,
they call
radical,
themselves
communist,
progressives.
socialist.
Yes.
Are they? I mean, I want to say, are they aware of this? Are people aware of this? That's their agenda? Or if those guys are doing their thing behind the scene, and then they're focusing on them hating Trump, so that they're focused on that,
and
they're not even seeing what's actually happening.
Have you watched Hakeem Jeffries, the congressman from New York, or the senator from New Jersey, Cory Booker, yelling and screaming on the floors of Congress? This is congressional Democratic rage. They're not having civil discourse. There's either the far left socialists like Bernie, who calls himself an independent, or AOC, or the lady from Somalia, who's in Minneapolis, Ilhan Omar, who's another train wreck, or you got the people that are raging, okay? And if you watch Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker, they're yelling at their fellow congresspeople. They're not trying to make a point. They're yelling.
Why?
Because they are so enraged by what Trump is trying to do to reverse all the illegal immigration, all the trillions of dollars wasted on illegals who should have never been allowed into the country. Because remember what Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas, his Homeland Security chieftain, did. They said, come on in, we'll fingerprint you, give you a cell phone, $100, and we'll send you on your way. That's what they did for 4 years.
And that was all for voters? Was that all to get voters?
Ultimately, to become a one-party republic. Because what they want is to stay, the Democrats to stay in power the whole time and to get all those people on a path to citizenship. And once they're citizens, do you think they'll vote for the Republicans, the ones that said, no, stay away? No, they're going to vote for the people that gave them all the shit. The cell phones, the free education, the free health care,
so then
rent-controlled apartments.
So why are these guys raging? Because they're afraid
because Trump's taking it all away. Trump's taking it all away.
And why do they care?
Because it's all in the pursuit of power. It is all in the pursuit of power. As a matter of fact, I'm reading a great new book.
Oh. Yeah.
You want a primer on power? This is genius level book. Mark Levin on power. It was just released 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Wow. Yeah, he's good, that guy. Whew.
Yeah. Okay. But, the Democrats are up in arms about this. Because,
But it's because of their personal agenda. I mean, obviously they're not interested in what's good for the country.
Well, no, you're absolutely right about that. Let me give you a quote. It's in my book, Erasing America, and it's actually from Rush Limbaugh. May he rest in peace. Liberals measure compassion by how many people are given welfare. Conservatives measure compassion by how many people no longer need it. That sums it up.
So why, if you don't mind my asking, I get the Republican not needing welfare. That means people are strong and capable and making their money and stuff like that, right?
They are taught how to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
That's
why. Yeah. Why would, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to let you answer. Why would the Democrats want more people on welfare?
They want people to be a subject of the nanny state. That's the socialist and the communist states, that everyone is dependent on the government. They want to instill dependency. That's it in a nutshell.
All for power.
All for power. Look at Cuba. Look at Venezuela. Look at Yemen. Look at Soviet Union. All the power was put into the government, and anytime you wanted to do anything, you had to stand in line and get permission to do everything. Do you remember?
It's interesting because tomorrow I have, by the time this airs, it'll be later, but tomorrow I have an interview with a woman. Well, when she was 6 years old, they escaped Castro's Cuba.
Okay.
He wrote a book called Property of the Revolution. I mean, and what it took to get out. And I think we totally take our freedom for granted. You know?
You might want to take a look at an old movie. It was great. Robin Williams, Moscow on the Hudson.
Oh.
Phenomenal movie. He was a musician in the Moscow circus. And him and his circus tribe went to Manhattan to put on shows under the auspices of the KGB. And it shows so much of Soviet life in the early 80s. You know, waiting online for shoes for 9 hours in the snow.
Wow.
It didn't matter what size. You had to get shoes. And then you'd barter with someone for your size. You took whatever was available, because when they were all sold out, there were no more shoes. But the movie is phenomenal. And Robin Williams should have gotten an Oscar. Yes. Moscow on the Hudson.
So do you think that, I won't say the Democrats, but people don't realize what's behind these people, these ragers, the whole agenda? And
you just said it. They don't realize. They don't realize. I heard a long time ago a very nasty line. I don't know whether it's true or not, but there are times when I suspect it is. And that is, the average American is an idiot. Okay? Sometimes I think it's true. Other times I don't. Especially at election time, I kind of think it is. Because 70 million odd people voted for Kamala. Okay? And I would love to have seen a debate between Kamala and Ben Shapiro, or better yet, Kamala and the wonderful Charlie Kirk. May he rest in peace. Okay? I would love to have seen that debate. And it would show America what kind of unintelligent person, I'm trying to be nice, Kamala Harris is. Okay.
And what do you base that on? Just so that people don't think you just don't like her.
Well, I've watched debates. I've watched interviews with her. And you remember, I don't remember the TV station. It was either CBS or NBC where they edited out a lot of the content.
Yes.
It was like 60 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And then they showed the before and the after editing. Oh my gosh, Hilary, it was night and day. After the editing, they made her seem somewhat rational. Before it was edited, she was an idiot who just kept talking round and round, like something is square because it's round, because it's square, therefore it's round because it's square. I held up my head. I couldn't believe what she was saying. And now she's saying it in her book.
So, but here's the thing. She was their candidate. okay, for better or worse, she was their candidate. And what the other side did, or one side, not the other side, did was focus on how bad Trump was. Nazi, this, that, so that they weren't voting for her.
They were voting
They thought she was wonderful. They were voting against a Nazi.
Their platform was "We hate Trump." That was their platform.
He's a Nazi. He's
remember her.
He's a dictator. Like that's, and they, now maybe the average American is an idiot, but they believed it. And so they were voting. Okay, if I'm watching that on TV without an ability to question anything, I'm watching it on TV and I'm seeing that he's a Nazi and I'm seeing that he's going to ruin the country. I'm not going to vote for him either.
But also, did you see that interview where she was asked in an interview on TV, which was a big one, she was asked what she would have done differently than Joe Biden. Remember that? And she thought and said, nothing at all.
Right.
She would have done all the same exact things.
But those people who believed the news that he was a Nazi, I promise you, didn't see what the other side sees.
Right. And they don't know the definition of Nazi. Yeah.
They didn't see, right, but they didn't see the all the illegals coming in. They didn't see the violence. All they saw was what they wanted them to see.
You know, like Hilary, let me.
Do you know what I'm saying? But my question, before you go on, hold that thought. If I was them, I would probably feel the same way. If that's all I was seeing, the problem is that that's what they're seeing.
But that's just a superficial view without investigating anything.
Exactly.
Which brings me to my next point.
They didn't.
My dear mentor, Dan Kennedy, when I was at one of his conferences, I think it was Dallas, he was reminiscing about when Obama was running for president, both the first and second time. And he made a very, very good point, and the audience went silent. You could hear a pin drop. He said, I don't care if you voted for Obama or not. This is directed to those of you who did vote for him. He wrote one or two books, and you could have read them before you went to the ballot box. Did you bother to read his books, which would have told you everything you wanted to know about this man before you hit the ballot box? The place was silent. Dan was the only one that read the books, and he obviously voted against them. Okay. People do not take the initiative to learn more. You know, you've heard that when people get out of school, they don't read anymore. You see those books behind me? That's not decoration. I read an hour and a half a day, every single day. And Brian Tracy, my other old mentor, used to tell me, if you're not learning and you're not reading and you're not taking class, you're dead in the water. Because class is always in session for the successful among us. Okay, you can't not read. And many people just refuse. Oh, I'll watch a YouTube video. Yeah, well, have at it. Oh my gosh.
I love to read. I mean, I do. I love to read. I don't watch TV. I love to read. But I know a lot of people who don't.
Right.
I don't think they would think of it.
You know, that reminds me.
They're being spoon fed.
I go to a gym every day, about 1.5 miles from my house. And there's this one guy there, very nice guy. We got in a discussion one day. And, you know, the sixth book that I wrote was about money and wealth. And we were talking about money, and I got the stupid idea, Hilary, that he might like to read my book about wealth and money and autonomy. So I brought in a copy. He looked at it and put it on the side of his desk. And then, days go by, weeks go by, and I happen to go into the office and I see the book is in the exact same place as he put it weeks ago. And at that point, I knew he would never, ever pick it up. And I took it back and I put it in my gym bag. And he never missed it. He never spoke about it again. Okay. The man earns $60,000 a year. He drives a beat up car. He can't afford to take his girlfriend to a nice restaurant because he doesn't have any money, but he doesn't have enough time to read a book on how to make more money.
What is that?
Mazel tov.
Right. But what is, like, I don't know. People are just stuck in there.
Yeah.
Or,
No, I hear you.
I mean, my daughter was telling me about something that worked for her about, it wasn't reading, but it was something. It was about food. And I was like, what's on my hand? I didn't want to hear it. Right. Not because I didn't believe her. I didn't think she was right. I knew it was working, but it reminded me of something that I couldn't hear. It was like, I'm wrong. You're right. I don't want to hear it. A couple months go by. She's telling me again. And finally I was like, tell me about it. No. But I could get past my, whatever that was, Michigas, and listen. And I learned, but it took me getting past my own crap to be able to listen. So I wonder if this guy, you might have reminded him of his father. Maybe he had an uncle that told him he was a loser. Like, who knows what had him not pick up that book? We don't know. Just like when you say people should investigate. I don't think they will.
I'm going to show you two pictures which basically says the same thing. Okay. So,
okay.
You see this? The guy in the middle is my grandpa Max. The guy in the middle.
Wait, hold it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to go out again. Okay, go ahead.
The guy in the middle is my grandpa Max. That's his laundry. Norton's Laundry and Dry Cleaning in New York City. Okay. And here.
Did he work there or he was just doing laundry?
Yes. And here is my grandma Rose working in the back also, ironing shirts. They both started off like that, ironing in the back of the store.
And your grandfather was wearing a suit.
This was a long time ago. Yeah. You dressed for success. So my grandparents' laundry eventually became my dad's laundry, which he grew into the third largest laundry in New York City. Okay. And progress, persistence, motivation, struggling, climbing the ladder, making things better for yourself and your kids than you had it before. That's part of the American ethic. It's kind of like, you remember the wagon trains going west, opening up a brand new part of America, seeking a better life. It's like, fast forward 50 years, my dad could have been ironing the shirts also. And so could I. But we all wanted something better. We're willing to learn so that we could have a better life for ourselves and our kids. But there's a whole lot of people out there who are okay, working for Uber 16 hours a week, playing video games, getting food stamps and just coasting.
Why?
It's a lack of a work ethic and going to liberal colleges where they learn from Marxist professors teaching socialism.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that start? I don't remember learning that.
It actually started like over 40 years ago, but it's become insane in the last 2 decades. Okay. There was an article this morning. Do you remember there was an article over the last several months about this kid at Brown University who sent out Doge-like emails asking faculty, non-teachers, what is it you do here? Do you remember that? And he was brought up on charges, okay, and they wanted to suspend him, basically for his chutzpah, okay? And in today's paper, Brown is laying off like 48 people who they didn't need, and they closed 53 open job positions that are going to stay unfilled because they didn't need the people. They were wasting money. And, there were just so many clerical positions there, non-faculty positions. How many maintenance people do you need to run a boiler? Okay. The deputy boiler guy, the assistant boiler guy, the 4 trainees, it's like you need 2 people.
Well, how did they get so overstaffed?
I don't know, but you should read it. It's in today's paper, Brown University. And by the way, that's closer to you and then to me.
It is.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, but it was big headlines because, this kid of his own volition, he worked for one of the student government newspapers, and he looked and saw how many people were employed at the university, how many were teachers and how many were not teachers. And there were like over 1,000 that were non-teachers. And he made an email. It's like, what do you do every day? And no one answered him. And he was brought up on charges by the administration.
Wow.
It's hysterical. That's his right to free speech.
Parents and teachers, imagine a classroom where every child belongs, where kids are seen, known, and part of a real community. That's the world Kokori creates. Kokori isn't just another program. It's hands-on, playful, and filled with activities kids love, all while building skills that matter for life: confidence, kindness, resilience, and teamwork. Kids learn how to regulate themselves, connect with others, and discover the joy of learning that lasts a lifetime. And it works. Schools using Kokori have seen behavioral referrals drop by 25%, and teachers save hours of planning time. Whether you're a teacher building a safe, positive classroom or a parent wanting your child to grow socially and emotionally, Kokori makes it easy to bring these life skills into everyday learning. So if you're ready to help kids grow stronger, kinder, and more confident while creating a community where every child belongs, visit kokoriapp.com. That's KIKORI, where kids thrive together. Hey, it's Hilary from the Getting Real with Hilary show. Life can be messy, raw, and real. And sometimes we're afraid to feel vulnerable. We're afraid to be that real self. Well, that's exactly what the Getting Real with Hilary show and Getting Real movement is all about, being our true selves. Every week, I bring you stories of transformation, authenticity, and hope. People getting real with their struggles, their faith, and their breakthroughs. So don't miss a thing. Subscribe to my weekly newsletter today. You'll get stories, links to everything new, and how to create a life you love every week directly to your inbox. You can also find my books on Amazon. My courageous and riveting memoir, The Second Piece of French Toast, in case you feel stuck in your life and want to get inspired. How I came out about my no sex life in my marriage, in my second book, Real Talk. That one will get you speaking up in ways you've been too afraid to do so, and really creating amazing freedom. And my third book, How to Stop Fixing Yourself and Start Having Fun. The name is called Your Bullshit is Your Blessing. Find links to everything and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Getting Real with Hilary, and you'll find the links in the header. So visit, and you can also visit gettingrealwithhilary.com, because the real you is worth it and wants to come out. Hey everyone, it's Hilary, and if you followed Getting Real with Hilary, you know I believe we heal by telling the truth, asking better questions, and choosing courage over chaos. That's why I'm excited to share a book that does all of that. It's called Reviving Our Republic, written by Navy veteran Mike Biedenbaugh. This isn't just another political book. It's a hopeful, grounded blueprint that shows exactly how we repair our institutions, restore our constitutional balance, and rebuild a culture where citizens lead again. If you're ready to get real about America's future and what role you can play, go to revivingourrepublic.com and get your copy today. So thank you, as always, to our sponsor, KakoriApp.com, and to our other sponsors who you see their logos going across the bottom of the screen. Thank you all for making this show possible. We appreciate your support. And now let's get him back, Rodger Friedman, who's making us all think. Wow.
You know,
right.
Hilary, if I could be accused of one thing and one thing only, I make people think.
Yeah, it's good.
And I'm okay with that because there's a whole lot of not thinking going on.
Right. But like you were talking about the people who, you know, look, my grandparents came with nothing, and then my parents worked hard, and I think I worked hard, you know, still working hard. It seems that the next generation doesn't have that. Now, you said, you know, they're being taught by these Marxists and stuff like that. I mean, I interviewed, I don't know if it was after our interview, but a journalist who, when he went to school,
right,
they were taught to, they didn't take sides. Like it was like, what? But so I said, when did things change? He said, when the professors started teaching different journalism. I mean, how does that start? Do you know what I mean? Like, how does it go from this is journalism to, oh, now you can just write about your side? And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because, you know, I think back to the mid 70s when I was in college at the State University of New York. Now, I took a whole host of economics courses, but now evidently I learned economics is racist. I didn't know that.
What?
And no one has been able to explain to me how economics is racist. Or for that matter, how cooking is racist. Or wood shop, or ceramics, or metal shop. They're all racist. Next thing they're going to tell me, electricity is racist. I'd like you to prove that one.
Well, that's like a buzzword to get anybody to shut up because nobody wants to be a racist. It's like
no one
way
wants
of
to offend someone else. Because if someone calls you a racist, are you going to argue or are you going to shut up? Depends on who you are.
Right. It's just a way of manipulating and controlling people.
Right.
Because nobody wants to be called a racist.
Sure. No one wants that label. Okay. You know, there were all these articles that, you know, Trump was a racist. And meanwhile, there were pictures of him with all of the most influential African-American leaders over the last 50 years. Okay.
Right. But the people calling him the racist wouldn't show those.
No, and they would not acknowledge any fact that does not fit in their narrative.
Exactly.
That's it's an inconvenient fact. Yes.
Oh my God. That's a good one. Inconvenient.
Well, or our old Gore, an inconvenient truths. We have all this
Oh my God, that's
uh,
good. That's good.
environmental crap going on, but it's okay that, and Kerry said this also when he was Secretary of State, it's okay that I'm on my private jet plane because people like me, how do you expect us to get around? I can't even answer such a stupid question. Yeah.
Well, it's human nature to justify themselves.
Yes, and
It's
that's
human
great.
nature not to be responsible and to blame others. It just doesn't get us anywhere.
I know. And
It doesn't.
what I
Go ahead.
what I really want to see, and I'm not seeing it, is I want both sides of the aisle to, God forbid, come together and talk in thoughtful discussions without yelling at each other.
Right.
Okay? Hakeem Jeffries, take it down a notch. Better yet, take it down 32 notches. Okay?
What is
Stop being an angry black man and just listen, because other people know what they're talking about. You're not the only one with a corner on brains, believe it or not. Okay?
Well, have you heard of a win-win scenario?
Well, we're definitely not seeing it.
No, because it's a win-lose.
Yeah, because what I'm seeing is the Democrats are just being obstructionist at this point. They're not, they were hired to work in government to make America better. Isn't that what a government worker should do, is make America better? Whether you're a congresswoman, a senator, a secretary of state, a president, you're here to make America a better place. Okay? To me, that's the job description. If you're not willing to do that, then get the F out and leave it to others who are willing to make America a better place.
But do they think they're doing it?
No, they're just being obstructionist. Okay.
Why?
For example,
What's in
Chuck
it for them?
Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries just wanted to go to President Trump and say, we got you over a barrel over the current continuing resolution, the CR that's going on right now, because the government, by the time you air this, the government will most likely shut down. Okay. And we will talk about that in just a moment. But, they went to Trump and said, we want you to restore $500 million to public broadcasting. Absolutely not. We want you to restore $1 trillion for Medicaid and Medicare for illegals. Absolutely not. So if that's all you're going to talk about, we're not having a meeting. Okay. So, but remember, when it comes to the shutting down the government, and now we're talking about one of my favorite topics, Hilary. When I used to live in Washington, D.C., and I commuted to downtown D.C. on Connecticut Avenue, 4 blocks from the White House, I used to love when the government's shut down. Do you know why?
No traffic.
No traffic. You're right. It was great. I got to work in 18 minutes instead of 45 minutes. Okay. All of 9 miles. Okay. So when it shut down, you remember they made a distinction between essential government workers and non-essential government workers. So if you were a custodian at the Department of Agriculture, I would assume you were non-essential. But if you were a captain of a destroyer in the Med, I would think that you were essential. Mm-hmm. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. Yeah. Now, first of all, I don't know why anyone would take a job where their boss calls them non-essential. To me, that's not a path to success, but that's just personal. So, and I was writing about this yesterday. I have 2 ways of looking at this. Number one in my dreams and my fantasy, and yes, everyone has their clothes on in this fantasy, okay? Congress actually votes a law and Trump signs it, wherein if the government is shut down for that period of time, everyone in Congress who voted to shut it down does not get a paycheck. In addition, they are fined $1,000 a day. Now, that'll light a fire under their asses, Hilary, because they make $174,000 a year. So a $1,000 a day fine plus no salary, that hurts. Okay. So that's my first alternative. My second alternative is for armed guards, preferably
You mean
U.S.
they're going to get paid even though they're not, even though they're shut down?
They should not. Yeah, they shouldn't get paid. I should deem them non-essential.
Oh,
My other alternative is to surround the doors of Congress, the rotunda, with Navy SEALs. Okay? You don't get out until you come to an agreement. And by the way, the bathrooms are on the other side of this door. And I'm going to repeat, you don't get out until you reach consensus. And we will shoot the first person that tries. I want to see that.
yeah. Good luck.
Good luck with that, Friedman.
I like them. Don't know if they can help it, but yeah.
Congress will get some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll learn that Congress is non-essential. They could stay at home along with the custodian from the Department of Agriculture.
All right. Wow. Woo. All right. Back to, let's see, we don't have that many minutes, or do we? I'm losing track of my minutes here. All right. We have a few. Okay. When you said you get the facts for all the people who take the news at face value, and you say you said, where's the truth? Where can they find the truth?
Well, the point is the truth is not located in one central place like Dubuque or Des Moines.
Right.
Okay. So, for example.
But how do you sift through? I mean.
Yeah, but you can do this. Okay. Take one big headline story, whatever it is. Okay. And then go to all the TV stations, you go to abc.com or MSNBC or the Washington Post, Chicago Times, whatever, and look at how the first three paragraphs, just read the first three paragraphs and look at how each of them report on the same story. And take a pen and write down the adjectives that they use. Okay. And the biases immediately pop out to you. Okay. When they say the addled president of the United States, addled. Okay. Right. When they say the hateful Republicans, hateful. Okay. And it's just very, very interesting that if you then look at these stories sans without the adjectives, it's a whole different story. And then you could begin to formulate, okay, really, what are the facts here? Okay, there was a shooter. He had a rifle. He went to Dallas. This is today. Went to the ICE facility. He shot two people. Then he shot himself. And then all the adjectives come into play. That was this morning's news, by the way, this date. Okay. In case you didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. But, the point is, if you look at maybe 5 to 6 to 7 different outlets, you begin to see, okay, this is how MSNBC spins this story. This is how the Washington Post or Newsmax or Fox spins this story. And Fox is just as guilty as anyone else. If you watch the Faulkner Focus or the Ingram Angle on Fox News, and I like both of those ladies. They are tremendously talented, yet they still use hundreds of adjectives boosting Trump and saying how all Democrats don't deserve to live. I see it. Okay.
Right.
I wish they would temper it a bit, but they don't.
Well, they have their own narrative.
They have their own biases and narratives. Exactly. So it's not easy to discern the truth. It's kind of like, when you're in the desert looking for water with that stick, that looks like a drumstick, the divining rod.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like looking for the truth.
Right. Well, that's interesting about the adjectives. I hadn't heard that.
Oh yeah, just write down the adjectives, and when their first word about John Kennedy, who's a spectacular senator from Louisiana, I mean, he is wonderful. Okay, when they start to talk about him as deceitful and deranged, it's like, okay, I see your bias. He's one of the most intelligent senators in the last 100 years.
So again, why? It's just to discredit?
Yeah. One side is seeking to discredit the other. And that's a 25-cent word you just used.
Thank you. Thank you. Woohoo, woohoo.
Great word. It is
writing it down so I can use it again.
Yes, absolutely. Put it on your power word list.
Yeah. Wow. So discredit. Yeah. I mean, and why?
Because they want to get the power back.
Yeah.
They want nothing more than to have congressional Democrats in a majority again, especially in the Senate. Because remember, the Senate flipped. Chuck Schumer ain't, and I use that word deliberately, ain't the leader anymore of the Senate. Now it's John Thune, who actually has a head on his shoulders. But, they cannot wait to get their majority back to try to undo everything the Republicans are doing, which is to undo what the Democrats did before.
Right.
Okay. Talk about, for example, you've read about USAID and the trillions of dollars that they sent to non-governmental organizations or NGOs.
Right.
Okay. Lesbian massage in Colombia, $3 million. Sesame Street coloring books in Iraq, $4 million. Transgender surgery in Guatemala, $4 million. What does this have to do with America?
Right.
These were all, there were tens of thousands of giveaways, and Trump put an end to all of that.
Right.
And I've written about it extensively because it made me sick.
Why is it we have a minute and a half left, but why is that a problem that he did that?
That's a very good question. Because the Democrats wanted to stay in power by showering money on everyone. And then those same people would turn around and fund their congressional campaigns for them to stay in power. So I'm giving the NGO millions of dollars, and then the important people at the NGO are then donating to my campaign.
Oh, I see.
Call it taxpayer-funded campaigns.
Yeah. All right, we have a minute left. This has gone way too fast. This is great. Thank you for your refreshing.
Well, you're so welcome. May I give you a commercial? Erasing America, Broken Politics, Broken Country. Rodger Friedman, the Amazon bestseller. And I'll tell you what, if you buy a book, I'll give you a kiss.
All right. And in 30 seconds, how would you like to see the country?
I would like to see the Democrats meet the Republicans halfway and have civil discussions to move the country forward instead of just obstructing everything. They're there to make the government work, not to break the government. I don't want a broken government, nor do you. We want a government that works. We all want low taxes. We want our families protected. We want our borders secure. And we want our government to do a good job. Why would we want anything else?
Thank you. God bless you. And
God
America.
bless you. Thank you, Hilary.
Thank you. It was really great to have you back.
You're very, very welcome. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye, all.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode. I started getting real with Hilary when I discovered that I was a people-pleasing, pleasant phony and wanted to be more of my real self. We can grow together if you will like the show, subscribe to my channel, and share this episode with your friends and family so that we can have a world that's more real.